All right, listeners, get ready to turn up the volume. Today's deep dive, we're throwing it back to the 80s with Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Relax.
An absolute classic.
Seriously. Now, I know what you're thinking. A deep dive on a song. What's next? Dissecting the Macarena. But trust me on this one. These lyrics, they've got layers. We're going beyond that catchy chorus to uncover what makes Relax tick.
It's so much more than just a catchy tune, you know. Relax. Captures a moment.
Yeah.
Think about it. The anxieties, the desires, even the politics of the early 80s, all crammed into this one track.
It's like a time capsule of 80s vibes, set to a killer beat. Okay, so first things first. That word relax, right? I mean, they're not subtle about it, are they? It's like constant. What's the deal with that?
Well, I think it's about repetition. It gets in your head, you know.
Oh, totally.
But there's this interesting duality, right? On one hand, you've got this almost meditative quality, like they want you to chill out, genuinely.
Right, like everything's gonna be all right.
Exactly. But then there's that driving beat, the way they're practically hammering the word at you. It creates this urgency. It's like a dare, almost.
That's interesting. It's like, are they telling you to relax? Or are they pushing you to do the opposite?
Maybe a bit of both. It's provocative, that's for sure.
Totally. And it's not just the repetition. Then they hit you with, relax, don't do it. Okay, don't do what? And then boom, when you want to go do it. Or when you want to come. Talk about mixed signals, right?
It's playful, right? But with an edge, this back and forth, the do it, don't do it. It reflects what was going on at the time. The early 80s were a time of massive upheaval, socially, politically. Sexuality was a huge part of that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And remember, the BBC banned this song, deemed it too hot for the airwaves.
No way, really. I mean, I knew it caused disturb, but wow. Okay, so we're talking about suggestive. We got to address the elephant in the room. Or should I say the laser beams in the room. Hit me with those laser beams. Come on, that's got to be a metaphor, right?
Oh, 100%. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
What do you think those laser beams represent?
Ooh, good question. Okay, so for me, I'm getting this vibe of intense desire, you know? Like, cut through the BS, give it to me straight.
Absolutely. Or even this raw, unfiltered energy. Remember, this is the 80s. People were hungry for something real.
Totally. And don't forget, this was also during the AIDS crisis, which adds another layer of complexity to those laser beams.
It does make you think.
It does. Like, on one hand, you have this anthem of liberation, right? People being open about their desires. But then there's this backdrop of fear of a very real danger associated with intimacy.
It's a fascinating contradiction. Relax becomes about so much more than just sex. It's about freedom, self-expression, and facing your fears head on.
Wow. We've gone from a catchy 80s song to like a whole societal commentary. This deep dive has been seriously eye-opening.
It's amazing what you can learn from a few minutes of music.
Right? It just goes to show sometimes the catchiest tunes have the deepest stories to tell. So listeners, next time you're belting out Relax, take a second. Think about the lyrics, the context, everything we've talked about today. You might be surprised at what you discover.